Hey, what's up, friends? I'm DonBoneJones, joined by your usual host, Waruchuu. And today we're going to be going over the black and white Ubers replays from, I think, weeks 1 and 2 of the Ubers Winter League. Okay. Yeah, so on preview, let's see. Looks like Latios can be pretty dangerous for London beats.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a sun structure that has popped up more recently, I'd say, or at least I've seen it mostly more recently. Not really the usual magic sun, where you have a magic bounce Pokemon to protect Ho from the Stealth Rocks, but with the Tentapool instead, which is nice because it can also set the toxic spikes, which is still very good in the tier, and playing against a Deoxys speed offense team. In the eyes of many, there aren't really any good Deoxys speed teams. But what's also noteworthy is that both of these teams are more or less hyper offense. I guess you could call the Team London as bringing just offense. But
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the Hazard game plays out.
Yeah, and I believe this is almost always E-Killer on sun structures, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you see Giratina, it's very much an E-Killer, but sometimes on normal Sunday also, unlike Ghost Sears. Sometimes it's Ghost Sears with extreme speed and Shadow Force, and sometimes the rocks set, but yes, this is probably going to be E-Killer.
Right, alright, let's see. Deoxys, Giratina.
Giratina, of course,
not get
threatens the
hazards.
Magic Bounce, Magic Coat.
Yeah, Magic Coat, because Tentacruel is the only Mon with spin. Might as well prevent the hazards. Draco Meteor. Is that... I wonder if that's Specs. Either way, those T-Spikes look good into Career's team.
I mean, it hits 4 of the Pokemon. It's especially good against Raiju. Break potential Sash if it has one. Also, it helps pin Kyogre down and chip it a bit. Of course, also versus the Arceus. Doesn't really matter that much against the Deoxys, but T-Spikes are pretty good here. I think that's defensive Groudon damage.
Yeah.
It's usually one of the defensive
Generally
backbones
means
of the Sun teams.
Generally means Fizdef, which is probably good. Say I have something against opposing E-Killer, for example. Then Ho just comes in to potentially absorb sleep. See Scarf.
Since it's often choiced, you have a slot free to run Dry Talk, which is basically Sleep Talk without rest, so that if you do get hit by Dark Void, you can still click that move and get one of the moves in your set. So that is mostly the sleep sack there.
Deoxys does not get KO'd from that range. You do see red card into E-Killer.
Yeah, red card, I really don't know what that item is supposed to be good for, to be honest.
Yeah, it
I-
doesn't seem great in the lead slot.
Jojen mentioned something about it being good into lead Rayquaza, but I don't really see that, since assuming the Deoxys speed would lead into the Rayquaza and gets hit by a plus special attack. What was it?
Draco
plus
Meteor.
Special attack Draco Meteor. It either gets KO'd if it doesn't have substantial SPDF investment, or if not, it on this team especially, where it doesn't have rocks, the Rayquaza can just come back in, have its sash intact and be not at -2, and just E-speed for the KO. So it can be even seen as a benefit, but I don't really know what Red God Deoxys speed is supposed to really accomplish.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. Let's see. See Arceus fighting. Definitely getting a lot of mileage out of Dialga here.
It's also a pretty good setup opportunity for the Blaziken.
Fire
should
Gem.
definitely gone into Kyogre here instead of that. Yeah, Fire Gem is a set, or gem sets for Blaziken in general is more of a recent invention as well. Brought up in UPL by Hack, and as you can see, it's really strong. I think it also KOs Arceus Ghost in Sun with Flavorless as at neutral, so really powerful. The correct play would have been to go Kyogre here, since it does live low kick from this range without any boost to my knowledge. But yeah, this is pretty much over at this point.
Yeah. I don't think Arceus will be doing enough to the Ho-Oh for it to really matter.
Getting extra poison chip with that protect. The Ho-Oh can just take
Yeah,
care
it's
of
Scarf Brave Bird.
fight CS.
Yeah. Very interesting game one.
Yeah.
I like the Tentacruel
One
Sun
thing to
idea.
mention maybe is that the Tentacruel is usually run with Payapa Berry, I think it was. Anyways, the berry that halves the damage of super effective psychic type moves. So with that, it can even live a hit from Latios Psyshock, and Deoxys Psycho Boost.
Yeah, do they
get
run
off
that in the
cheese
lead
spells.
ever? Or Psycho Boost Deoxys?
I mean, there is the Deoxys attack, which is also sometimes used. Not really on Deoxys speed, but I might be waffling. I actually have no idea whether it tanks Deoxys attack Psycho Boost. I think it does, since it's pretty nice on its special defensive side, but Deoxys attack is a monster, so I'm not too sure about that. But mostly good against the Latias, because it also lives a Draco, so it can get off either spin or... I'm not sure if it even runs spin on the set. But anyways, Toxic Spike.
I have to think it would be spin for a Ho-Oh, but with Scarf maybe it doesn't care as much about taking rocks. Yeah, Payapa would be good here, because again, Lotties look really good into this kind of team. But, yeah, I'll go to game 2. Not sure why these sprites aren't loading, but Gallinova using a very similar team.
try to reload the page once, maybe that fixes it.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah. I think this is the same comp we saw last game from Gully.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're on the same team, passing
Yes.
teams to each other. Okay.
Both on the Mewtwo's.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was week 1 in the best of 3 old gens slot, where this was a double sub, so this was originally supposed to be Hack versus 64 Squares, but they couldn't agree to a time, so they swapped into 2 other players. And anyways, the matchup we can see here is Sand, which is more of a rare playstyle, but it also works well. Definitely a more defensive team with Giratina alternate. So I'm not too sure what the set of this Giratina is. On the black and white ladder I've seen quite a few with like substitute Will-O-Wisp, Protect, and I think it was Dragon Tail. But it could also be just the usual rest talk set. I'm not too sure what the Arceus is. I think it's Arceus fighting. Could maybe be Arceus Grass, but probably not. Seeing the Ferrothorn. Yeah, the Glidecore might be the biggest trouble to overcome for Gally in this matchup, seeing as he can't really hit it very well. Best bet would probably be like Ho, Sacred Fire, or Blaziken, Flare Bliss in the sun. But other than that, it's probably a bit difficult to outright beat it and not get whittled down by the chip damage.
Yeah. I think the Giratina Gliscor core is just going to make it so hard to make progress. Let's see. The T-Tar is slower. So it gets Sand up first. This is the Toxic. Yeah, it looks to be Scarf damage.
Defensive.
Physically defensive? Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it would be physically defensive here. It's usually specially defensive, but seeing the damage, I'm not so sure again. But I don't have all the perfect head cogs.
Here, I'll check real quick. Braidbird did 44. Yeah, it's looking to be physically defensive Gliscor. Which definitely works out here. Does get the Toxic.
Usually it's pretty nice into Arceus Ghost, which can't really hit it well. So it's like Sub-Protect, Toxic, and Earthquake usually, but yeah. In the regular Arceus Ghost with Will-O-Wisp, which is used as a stealth rocker quite frequently, or also more or less a recent invention, does look pretty troublesome into this team otherwise, depending on their Arceus form, but with the Will-O-Wisp especially, it might be troublesome to deal with. But
Right, those... You're saying the Arceus Ghost could be on Mel's team?
No, I'm just wondering what Nella's team would do into like the Will-O-Wisp Arceus Ghost team if this Glasgow is indeed physically defensive. Because then I think it takes like 60 from Judgment, and the other stuff can get wisped.
Right. Not sure. Yeah.
Fortune burn here.
It's interesting that the Giratina is scared of the Tentacruel. Gets up rocks either way. Excadrill comes in. Doesn't get to spin and can't Earthquake because it's not Mold Breakers, so.
Yeah, rest talking. Giratina Alternate is quite scary here because, yeah, usually with these forced switch out moves, it has a lower priority, but because you're calling it through Sleep Talk, you're quite fast. So you don't have this negative priority thing, which is why it was also faster here. But Giratina Alternate is of course putting in a lot of work here. And
Yeah.
This might help a lot to break the team in the end, since a lot of things have been chipped here already, and because of the way the sleep works in Generation 5, sleep turns always reset on switch out. The Giratina Alternate is still on 50%, so it will probably fall to whatever it is hit by once it comes in.
Yeah, and Sleep Talk not being able to call rest means Giratina is pretty much down for the count. Does Giratina Origin, like, could it potentially carry Hex in this case, or any sort of way to pressure Gliscor?
I think Hex is not very good in Generation 5. I think it still has 55 base damage here, so with the even with the status effect, it's only at 110 power. So yeah, they usually don't run it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The issue is, of course, Giratina is not going to spin block forever, so if Ho comes in without rocks being up, it's pretty bad news.
Yeah, but this is pretty good positioning, since this does allow to spin with the Tentacruel later. Only thing is, once you bring the sun up again and bring the Tentacruel in again, the question remains whether it's that useful at that point, since it's quite a bit of a sequence, so you will still take a lot of damage here. So yeah, even getting hit by Iron Head here on the Giratina, I think it's 2-hit KOs. I'm not too sure on the damage rolls. It's usually quite physically defensive, but we'll see.
Swords dances. Okay. Shadow Claw. Wow.
That's quite a rare attack.
Yeah.
I've not seen that before. Yeah, alright. I was wondering for a second why I didn't go into Groudon there, but would have to take +2 Earthquake and then only get a Dragon Tail and switch it out, so would of course
Yeah.
suffer in the long game to keep the sun up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But of course, you're still
thanks.
dealing with
Perfect.
Sandrush Excadrill, which
Yes.
might win the game. Oh, that is a rough Dragon Tail pull. Keeps the sand.
And I think there's not much to be done here for Gully at this point. The Ho-Oh sack was of course quite unfortunate, as well as the immediate Dragon Tail into the T-Tar. I think probably the best point in the game to really outplay that would have been to go Groudon on the Sword Stance, or like whatever the potential attack was here. I mean, Rapid Spin was not too likely, since that would have been heavily punished again. So yeah, going for a double there might have been the play. Double there for one into Groudon and then secondly into Giratina, but it's still risky, since if it does use spin, you lose quite a lot of progress.
Yeah, with Excadrill being the only main sand abuser, giving up Groudon's HP might have been worth it in the end.
Yeah, with the
Do see Arceus fighting.
Ferrothorn at so much percent still, it's also the E-Killer doesn't really look too good here either, but maybe the Blaziken will clutch it all out. How much percentage does the Glasgow have left?
The Gliscor has 51.
Yeah, might work out. Might work out actually. Now it is faster than the Arceus. And at +3 it will also be faster than the Gliscor. I mean the Excadrill, yes.
Yeah. I believe Flare Blitz KO's Gliscor. Yep.
Yes. I think it was like U-turn last, the way it played. Yeah, it does not get spikes this generation. So here in this situation, question is what really would have been the right move. Low kick doesn't kill the Ferrothorn. If you click Flare Bliss, I think you take 30%. And also, of course, Sandstorm. And what was it?
Iron Barbs.
Also, yeah, Iron Barbs. So you're basically dead at that point.
Yeah, maybe with Protect. Card doesn't get the kill.
This of course seals it then.
And then Excadrill just
I think if
gets the
you
win.
SD on the protect, you would, you would of course win. I'm just wondering whether that would have been a guaranteed win if it like pressed leech seeds instead, then protected, switched out, and protect and switch out would have not been useful since the Groudon would have died. I think SD there on the Blaziken would have been the right play.
Yeah. Obviously, there's no guaranteed win con, but yeah, I think in that situation you have to play pretty aggressively with Swords Dance.
Yeah, but it was definitely interesting how this game progressed and how it turned out in the end. The Blaziken putting in a lot of work in 2 games out of 3 so far.
Yep. Then, yeah, this is the team we saw the first game, more or less, against a more offensive sand structure.
Yeah. I think Landorus Incarnate is usually like Choice Scarf with Sand Force. Which is nice in this tier because it has a speed base of 101 and thus it outspeeds both Salamence, which is the usual 100 speed Salamence, and Palkia, which usually are the 100 speed mons which can get a boost or run Choice Scarf. And of course also the most common Scarfer in Gensect, which has a speed base of 99. So if used well, it can do quite a lot of damage. And yeah, the same hyper offense, the Oxy speed structure. The other side. I don't know.
I thought you were saying something. Oh.
Yeah, this is the sequence is a bit weird because Cheetar usually runs Choppleberry, and with the Sandstorm I'm pretty sure it survives a Judgment. I'm not sure what Ice Beam does here, since
we've all been there.
Stealth Rocks would be where the Cheetar usually lives at in Sandstorm, and I mean it could be difficult to keep the sand up down the line, so maybe that was the thought process here. But even if it does go into like the pretty much any of the other mons, I think Judgment would have been the correct play, since I mean I'm not sure what this Rayquaza set is, but you're faster than it, so you could have Ice Beamed after, and usually has, or if it is the lead set, it has Focus Sash, and it's not KO'd by the Sandstorm because of Airlock, so it doesn't take damage from it. And maybe it was a prediction on Landorus coming in, but I don't know why it would come in. It doesn't really do too much to Arceus, since Earth Power, I think Rock Slide, U-turn, and I don't know what the last move is, but it doesn't really threaten Arceus. So I'm not too sure what that was about, but this does put Buell in a pretty decent position with his weather up and Star Frogs in the field, also revealing that the Arceus is Carmine, but I mean, it was decently obvious from the team preview that it was going to be set like this. I'm probably going for Toxic here. Or Thunderwave.
Thunderwave.
Rayquaza of course only gets Dragon Ascent in the following generation, but I think was it Life Orb? No. Don't think there was choice band damage. I really have no idea what set this is.
I have to think
like,
it's Sash.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't go for. I think Draco Meteor would have probably. No, V-Grade. It's probably.
Yeah, I think V-Grade was the correct play. We see Palkia here. I assume Palkia because I've seen it on Sun structures as well, just to give Sand and Sun better ways of dealing with Kyogre, as well as Palkia being a good mon in its own right.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good Kyogre check since it 4 times resists water, making water spouts not so strong, and is also neutral to both Thunder and Ice Beam. So definitely has that going for it. And also has pretty great offensive coverage, meaning it can also like run even Fire Blast or Flamethrower. So yeah, definitely great pick to deal with Kyogre like that. Oh, Instant Para. I think there's Lustrous Orb.
Power.
But Leox is getting no hazards here.
Citrus Berry Palkia. That's interesting.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I've not seen that before, but
Yeah.
I think that means I was wrong about Lustrous damage. Yeah. I mean, it does work out here. I just think another side would have probably been better. Another item.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's for Choice Specs Thunder or something like that.
Sure was choice. Probably not choice. Maybe choice scarf. I'm a bit confused by this structure if it is, but plays like it is one, and I don't think. Yeah, no, you don't run water spout on non-choiced sets. You only do that in SV pretty much because of the boots.
Yeah, I think Palkia took 25 from Water Spout, so I think that's Scarf.
must lose here was to sack that. Was to sack that Arceus. I mean, it's still pretty great against Darkrai and also Masters on Latios. I don't know, was probably fine.
Yeah, I mean Darkrai does outrun Arceus, and nothing is slept, so maybe the idea is win with Scarf Landorus. Or not. I think that Stone
I also haven't
Edge.
seen Surf Latios before.
I think that Stone Edge cost the game.
Yeah, no. Kyogre can just switch in and out and win from there. I do wonder at what point this could have gone differently, since Biel did have pretty commanding position at one point, especially since the Deoxys couldn't get any hazards up. I think switching out of the Dialga earlier and letting it get the rocks up was pretty bad for Buell. But yeah, also interesting to see a Sand team here. This one.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, that's all the games we have for this week. Thank you for watching. Should be SS and DPP videos coming soon.